Light up your life.
Welcome back to another episode with your host, Jan Fitzpatrick, in our 6 weeks to wellness kind of overall theme, and our theme in this series of how to move from exhausted to energized. So what are we talking about? Light up your life, Jan. What do you mean?
Well, if you take a look, sunshine is a vitamin.
Hmm.
And our bodies are great big solar collectors. And if we don't get enough, our batteries run down and we just don't have enough energy to get through the day. And regular exposure to sunshine and full spectrum light re-energizes your body and calms your mind.
That is fascinating, Jan. I never thought of myself as a solar cell or a solar collector. This is going to be interesting. So
Yeah.
talk to me about the specifics, though. What are we hoping are going to be the takeaways if you watch the rest of this episode?
Well, this is my series, part of my series, to get really nerdy and geeky and scientific, which I just love. So we get to talk about why is sunshine important?
Okay.
How can you tell if you're getting enough? And ways to get more full spectrum light.
Excellent. All right. Well, light is certainly an important thing, and lighting up your life sounds like it could actually be kind of fun. So let's dig in a little bit. Why is sunshine important? What do you mean when you say sunshine's a vitamin? I mean, sunshine is sunshine. How is it a vitamin?
Yeah. Well, sunshine is one of those basic things that we need. We need oxygen, we need water, and we need sunshine. That's the way that we evolved on this earth. And if you go way back, not way back, but you go a little back into history, there's this whole sunbathing movement back in the early 1900s, and they would take people who were very ill with tuberculosis, and they would take them to a place with clean air. I'm sure that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, helps.
And slowly expose them to sun. And they eventually got better. Because light, or full spectrum light, and sunshine is made of photons. And photons start every chemical reaction in our body. And DNA stores, absorbs, and produces photons. It's like recharging your batteries. A capacitor, you just absorb and absorb and absorb, and you store it, and when you need it, then you use it, and it's light energy actually in our bodies. When they say your light body, they really mean it. They really mean it. And people who have noticed, like halfway through the winter, it happened to me actually about 10 years ago. I got to about January, February, and then it even got worse in March. I would wake up just as tired as when I went to bed. Well, not quite that bad, but I just needed so much sleep, and I just couldn't seem to find that bright, crispy place where you feel awake and calm, all of this, energized and calm all at the same time.
Right.
And it really has a lot to do with recharging your batteries with sunshine, especially in the northern climates where we live.
Yep, and as a psychologist, I can certainly vouch for the fact that I've worked with people who really do have this kind of seasonal affective disorder where, as the days shorten, the amount of sunlight shortens. Some people literally get deeply depressed, and a lot of people we'll get into in a couple of bullet points down here about some of these things, but some people really do benefit from exposure to sun lamps that are giving them full spectrum light. So I don't want to get too far ahead here,
Or they go to Florida or California in the wintertime.
That's right. I mean, there's a reason for that people really crave, in the middle of winter, getting out of town and going to a cruise to the Bahamas, let's say, or going to Florida. Yeah. Absolutely. It's not just emotional.
Not at all. It's actually a physical need we have, and that's why I call it a vitamin. It's essential to life. Light. If there's no light on this earth, there's no life, and that's true for us every single bit of the day. And over the winter time, it can get a little difficult to get the sunshine that you need. But if you walk out after a very cloudy, cold winter, couple days even. And the sun is bright and shiny and warm, and you're out of the wind, of course. It feels marvelous. It feels wonderful. The spring days just, no wonder it's called spring fever.
Right.
We have all of this energy because we've finally getting the sunshine that our bodies need.
We're coming out of hibernation or something like that.
We're
So
getting our batteries recharged.
yeah, so we're hinting at some of the answers
Yeah.
to the next question, which
Absolutely.
is really, how can you tell if you're getting enough sunlight other than
Yeah.
literally looking at the hours on the clock? So clearly your emotions are part of that, right? How you're feeling. We're talking about that feeling of feeling
Yes.
kind of depressed or
Groggy.
de-energized or sluggish or
Yep,
foggy.
absolutely.
What
And then
else though?
you can actually, I think you actually go by your symptoms. You can tell by when your symptoms kick in. And also you can measure your vitamin D levels as well.
Okay.
Most people understand that it's about vitamin D and sunshine, but that is only the tip of the iceberg of what sunshine
That's
does
just
for us and
one
what
piece of it,
photons do to us.
Mm-hmm. Well, excellent. So odds are you kind of know, even if you're not putting two and two together, you know that you're not getting enough sunshine
Yes.
by how you're feeling. A blood test might show you a vitamin D level as well. That is another clue. So part of this is just recognizing that what you're feeling may be related to the amount of time you're spending in some dingy office in a little cubicle world where you've got nothing but fluorescent lights above your head, and maybe you need a little good old-fashioned sunshine. So
Exactly.
if you've made that connection and you're understanding that you're not getting enough sunlight, well, what do you do about it, Jan? What do you recommend to clients you're working with? How do you help them do something about this and absorb light other than literally going outside? But that's part of it, but what else can they do?
Well, we talked about exercise in one of the other series. You can actually take time to exercise and take a walk outside, 15 to 20 minutes. They say an hour sometimes, but 15 to 20 minutes it just makes a big difference as well. Don't stress yourself out.
Well, that is one of the downsides of if you're only getting exercise by going to the gym or by going or working out in your basement. I've often found that's one of the things you miss out on, of course, is you're not getting the fresh air, you're not getting the sunshine, you're not getting some of these other benefits. So if you can move some of your workout outdoors, absolutely, that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think you touched on those lights that you can buy for full spectrum. I'm not sure how to say it, but I'd rather you not use fluorescent lighting.
Right.
But now that they've gotten the LEDs to be more full spectrum, that's more appropriate. There are some things, even though light seems to be light, fluorescent lights blink at such a rapid rate that it does affect our body's energy field. So in some ways, it can actually drain us. And I've had that experience working in an office.
Not to mention, they're actually also quite toxic if you break them. I mean, so you
they have mercury in them. They have to be disposed properly. That is so true.
Yeah. So if you can avoid that way, that I'll definitely back you up on that one, Jan. If you can get it from an LED or some other kind of light source,
or even incandescent.
Light is not light. I mean, the spectrum of light. I mean, which is literally the wavelength of the light.
Yes.
And people know this because obviously, you don't get sunburn sitting in front of certain kind of lights, but there are other lights that will burn you, and so that has to do with that frequency of the light and what end of the spectrum from ultraviolet to infrared you're getting. So we want full spectrum light, right? To get Mother Nature's kind of light.
We need far infrared to ultraviolet, and mainly because our cells absorb and are helped by different wavelengths. So different cells resonate to different wavelengths, so we need all of them. We can't skip any of them.
So you do want to consult an expert about the kind of lighting you're getting, because you don't want to get a tanning bed light and fry yourself. That might actually do more harm than good, right? So you need to know what you're doing, and you might want to consult somebody.
I think there's more of an emphasis on ultraviolet. Actually, ultraviolet light is necessary for us, even though some of the wavelengths tan us, but we need all of them. And there's a really easy way to get full spectrum light in just a few minutes, and that's a session with the quantum pulse.
And what is the quantum pulse?
It's a technology that you sit in front for 3 to 5 minutes, and you get all of the full spectrum light, and it moves all the cells so that it actually kind of wakes everything up. especially in the middle of the winter when you feel like all you want to do is sleep.
Right, absolutely. Well, that sounds pretty interesting. So, and obviously that's something that you offer
Yes.
in the work that you do. And is that also part of the 6 Weeks to Wellness program? I mean,
It
you get
is.
into, okay, excellent. Okay.
It
So if
is.
people want to know more about that, they're certainly going to find it on your website at
Yes.
invibehealth.com. Well, this has been great, Jen. So, I mean, you've made me think about more than just the mental good feeling of sunshine, that it is a much more physical thing. So we talk about why sunshine is important, some of the signs and symptoms that you might not be getting enough full spectrum light into your life, and then how you can address that. What can you do to try to get more light into your life, whether it's exercise, whether it's quantum pulse, these different kind of ways to kind of get exposure. So this has all been part of our series about moving your life from feeling exhausted to feeling some energy, feeling energized. If you missed any of the earlier parts, well, that's because you weren't getting the notifications. That's because you didn't click the button that's the banner that's right below this video, and take advantage of Jan's free offer to get a copy of her ebook that's on Amazon. But why buy it on Amazon when she's willing to give it to you free right here? So click the banner right below here, get her ebook, but that also her list so that you don't miss out on episodes. So now you're going to have to go back to her blog and scroll back and find the earlier episodes in this series, but we've got a whole bunch of new series coming up on lots of great things that you're going to want to know about if you're dealing with this change of life and you're a woman over 50 and you want to get more great information from Jan. Click that banner down below there, get her ebook, but get on her notification list. So, Jan, thanks so much for this great sunshine, shiny information here, and I look forward to our next episode. So I'll see you soon.
Thanks for joining us.